Archimex login confirmed.
Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning. Dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Welcome to another edition of the Lodgecast. They said it couldn't be done, but we are back. I'm your Lodge Master. With me, as always, is Brother Bishki.
Hi.
Brother Lucas.
Hey.
And tonight, again, going into uncharted waters, the Lodge Mistress herself.
Welcome. Welcome.
She is here. We are all in the Red Dragon.
Hot winter night.
We are parked at the extra special electronic vehicle charging station, which is front row parking, because the Red Dragon is
airy and bright. We can actually see the sunset from this spot.
It's electric. Boogie Oogie Oogie. And today's movie, which we hope will also be electric, is titled Serenity. Serenity is what the movie is. And we are here knowing next to nothing about this film.
Well, last night I went to see Green Book with Brother May and
Brother May.
Sister May and Brother Nathan.
Yes.
And then afterwards I go to Starbucks and the kid behind me just blurts out something that I will not repeat.
Oh, it's like a dagger.
And I put my hands on my ears while I was ordering at Starbucks. That's how
a kid was talking about Serenity?
Well, not kid. It was like a high schooler.
It was probably a
something
film
like,
student in his 20s. It's probably
so
me.
We'll see how consequential what he said was, but
well, just so everybody knows, we are here tonight because of just some rando on Twitter before the reviews were able to be published was like, Serenity's coming out and nobody knows what's about to hit them.
Nobody knows what Gabbo is coming. Nobody knows what Gabbo is.
There's a bait and switch with the marketing and nobody is ready.
But for the record, last year I saw the Serenity trailer a lot, at least a handful of times.
I think it's been tinkered with.
And well, the trailer I saw had the ticking fishing line theme.
Yes.
But I liked it. It was actually like this neo-noir, like Wild Things or...
Like body heat on the water.
Yeah, like it just was enticing where I was like, it looks like sleazy fun and I'm all for it. But here's the thing. The trailer sold it as a B picture, very simple, straightforward, more like a mood, atmospheric, sultry, sexy piece than anything. But then, when Brother Zach or whoever notified us of that tweet that was just like, this movie is bonkers, I was like, huh.
And that's when we decided it was going to be a complete embargo, no Rotten Tomatoes,
nothing,
no articles, no reviews,
Blackout.
And then it still finds us. Like
it's
follows.
Seeping up,
it followed Bishki.
That's the power of the ether. Like it's out there.
Yeah.
Like you really do have to try to stay ahead of it, otherwise you will get spoiled.
I was close.
And
It's
it also must be noted that Brother Zach, I think, was the one that sent us this fateful tweet.
Yeah.
And he has dipped. So I think, and everybody else that we tried to get to come on tonight politely refused. So I think they smell a stinker on the horizon.
Well, when I mentioned it to people, they would get confused because they would think of the Joss Whedon Firefly movie, and I said, no, I understand, that's a good movie, but this is, and it's frustrating because it's like, this is ruining it already.
How do they even market this with? If you look up Serenity the movie on Twitter,
they just gotta
it's all about Nathan Fillion.
They just have to add like an adjective like cracked Serenity or like Florida Palm Serenity.
Wet
like
Serenity?
just
Wet Serenity.
Yeah, there you go.
I would see a movie called Wet Serenity.
Or the SS Serenity.
Well, it's like lounging Nazis.
My interest in the film was the writer-director Stephen Knight.
Okay.
Who wrote Dirty Pretty Things.
Oh.
Also Eastern Promises.
Oh, wow.
And was the writer-director of Locke with Tom Hardy, which I thought was an interesting experiment.
Sounds like somebody back there has been doing some research that he shouldn't have been doing.
I've been following this guy.
Well, he's a good writer. I mean, this is like established, seasoned.
All right.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. Locke was interesting. I felt like it went on for too long, but yeah, it was a good.
Kind of like this intro. I think we need to dive into these waters. Move over, SEAL Team 6. This is salad team 4. Like, we just go in and we see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, we're going in cold. I'm going in pretty cold.
We take care of business and we report back to you. So all these people that jumped in the little dinghies and the skate boats, you don't even need to see it. Congrats. You missed the boat. We're going to tell you what transpires on the poop deck. All aboard for Serenity.
Yes.
Yep.
Serenity.
Oh man,
We've returned.
are we back? Are we washed ashore?
We have
Online.
salt on the lips
Oh man, so
And,
many feels.
and the oceans in our
So many
hearts.
feels.
Okay. I mean, what I'll say right now is that
Wow.
that tweet was not fake news.
No.
We
Delivered.
had solid intel.
Delivered. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Before we dig in to this feast, Senor Bishki.
Okay, I'm
What
curious.
is that,
I'm curious.
Shams?
I've not read this yet, but
Okay,
it's
it's
not going
live.
to even
I'm curious,
begin to do
too.
it justice.
We'll
Okay.
do it live.
We'll do it live. From the Rotten Tomatoes, from the creative mind of Oscar nominee Stephen Knight comes a daring, original, sexy, stylized thriller. Baker Dill, Academy Award winner Matthew McConaughey,
Dill.
is a fishing boat captain leading tours off a tranquil tropical enclave called Plymouth Island. His quiet life is shattered, however, when his ex-wife Karen, Academy Award nominee Anne Hathaway, tracks him down with a desperate plea for help. She begs Dill to save her and their young son from her new violent husband, Jason Clarke, by taking him out to sea on a fishing excursion, only to throw him to the sharks and leave him for dead.
We're still going.
We're still going.
Wow.
Karen's appearance thrusts Dill back into a life he tried to forget, and as he struggles between right and wrong, his world is plunged into a new reality that may not be all that it seems.
Oh my! You can feel.
Wow.
You can feel the advertising department just breaking their backs, bending over backward, trying to figure out how to sell this thing,
Man.
how to land this fish.
Man, they did an amazing, brilliant job selling it.
Yeah.
Because
But then they just buried it.
but it's so many things to talk about. Like I don't even know where to
Yeah.
begin.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple things. Settle around the podcasting speakers, young children.
Gather around.
But I'm going to say one thing first. I'm thinking of a few people that I know listen to this. And if you think you're who I'm thinking of, if that makes sense, stop this and go see it. I'm going to push this episode up so it's still in theaters because it's probably only going to be...
You have maybe a week.
It's
You have
gonna
maybe
have-
till next Friday.
And I will say this, I was pretty riveted the whole
Okay,
time.
well, okay.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah,
it,
it's going to be gone in a flash.
Yeah.
So please, if you're who you think you are, go see it immediately with people. With people who aren't ready. And then I'm also going to say I think we should just kind of we'll take people through what we felt while we were watching it, like as it went on, and try to
Yes.
reveal twists as we go.
yes.
But Bishki, you got to let us know when we get to the part where the kid in line spoiled it for you.
Yes.
I wanna know
yeah.
because I want to know how much you knew.
Because when I was coming out of the theater just now, there were people broadly and loudly proclaiming certain things about it for
Yes.
all to hear in the
Yes.
concession area. And going into the bathroom, I was like, wow, if people
This is-
hadn't
yeah.
seen this, like, watch out.
This is one of those movies where you become a family, no matter who you're with in that theater. You're all experiencing, some would say, a traumatic event, and you feel close to one another.
Oh,
you feel,
man.
You feel like you're a global village.
I
You
would.
went our
Yeah,
mind,
I was. Yeah. Oh my God.
first time I've
Mind.
ever looked at around at people at the very end to see what their expressions
Just to see
were.
what
Yeah.
were they
when,
doing.
When Bishki had to do his
was-
pee break, I was like, no,
It was
like, don't go.
yeah,
I was
it
like,
was
come back.
definitely a mix of wide eyes, chuckles, a lot
There
of
was
stuff.
nervous laughter. There were people
Yeah.
like dumbfounded laughter. Like they weren't processing. They were just laughing at the
Okay.
insanity.
Okay. You've heard all that bluster. Now, the story begins on a simple boat named Serenity.
It's a
Two men cacked back in the sun.
great opening.
Great opening.
It really was.
Shot well,
Amazing
cut
opening.
well. Like, I don't like to fish. I've never been deep sea fishing, but oh my God. You're living it. Like, you are there.
You
like,
see these dudes chilling.
it's
just
authentic.
With,
like,
their,
it
with
feels,
their rods.
It feels real.
With their lines in the water or whatever.
Drinking.
Just drunk. Passed out. You see Djimon Hounsou come out. Every shot they give of this dude
Is epic?
like they're going for, an Oscar montage shot. He's got like 10 of them in this, and the music always swells because he looks so cool.
Oh,
On point.
He's always on point.
On fleek.
And he's looked that way for like 30 years. But anyway,
Yeah.
you see him, you're like, oh man, shit just got really serious. The music's swelling, and then you see McConaughey. And you're just like, man, it just feels so
It feels
comfortable.
right. It feels right. Yeah, he's a captain of a boat, and he's in his element, and I'm with it. Like, I mean, the opening was killer.
completely-
Like,
yes.
the fish is coming.
So what
and
happens
it's got
is
this Ahab quality to it, where there's like history,
great.
where he's like, "This is my fish."
one of the I'm not going to be using correct fish terminology,
don't.
but please, you got it. One of the rods catches a big one, the big one. So big that McConaughey takes it for himself and wants to reel it in himself because he's been hunting it for so long. And the guys who were passed out said, "Oh, we paid for this. Let us take it in." And he pulls a knife on him.
Yeah.
And he goes, he's
willing to kill these fucking dudes that hired him over a fish that he wants to catch. Like, I've never seen such committed,
Unbelievable.
like, gravitas. Like, it was real.
McConaughey-
It was fucking real.
Before McConaughey speaks in this, he's acting at about an 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when he pulls that knife, he spikes way past 10, and he does not go down for the rest of the time.
Committed.
No.
You see it in his eyes.
Brilliant.
You can see the blood vessels around his eyes pop. He
Should have been
gives that to
nominated.
you.
Should have been a contender. Him and Ethan Hawke should have been neck
Well,
and neck.
hey, we're in a new year.
Yeah, it's a new year.
And this
Should be.
this-
Wait.
we can be
man.
we can be just a small team of McConaughey pushing McConaughey for this movie.
Man, you're right. I didn't even realize that.
I mean, that first scene was so gripping.
He grips the pole, he grips the rod. Thanks for the segue there. And he's just like, it's just like he's on the toilet. Like, he is pushing so, like, he just pours himself
But what I
into
love
it.
about the sequence, and here's the thing, I didn't know Stephen Knight had it in him to be this cinematic. Like, this is what gets me up in the morning. It dissolves, right? We dissolve passage of time, and he is still reeling this fucking fish
And he's
in.
exhausted.
And he is wiped out.
you believe it.
And it's like, wow, I'm in like good hands. Like, you all of a
Yes.
sudden, like, you are in the shit.
You know,
Like, you are
everybody's
in the
bringing
shit.
everything, and it is amazing. And we like even the first shot before this sequence, we go into an eyeball like Speed Kills.
Yes, it was Speed Kills.
It was
exactly,
like a CG eyeball push in. We're underwater. And then suddenly, I think we're literally fish POV,
Yep.
and it's
Yeah.
a fisheye lens, and we suddenly shoot up out of the water. We pop up above the water, and we start
Serenity.
speeding towards the boat, and it's like Serenity, and it's almost like Terminator music.
Yeah.
It really sets you up. You're like, I have no clue what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And then we get that brava fish reel
Opener.
performance. And then I wouldn't say the movie ever really settles down. It's always moving around. And we establish Diane Lane, who I did not know was in this.
No,
I
nor-
did because I saw
knew?
Matthew McConaughey on Ellen, and he talked about wanting to kiss.
Oh, wait,
Diane
she was in the trailer. Yeah, I remember her
You
in the
saw
trailer. but I
McConaughey in the
forgot.
flesh.
I did.
And what did they say about this movie?
Well, Ellen kind of laughed and was like, "You can't tell us much about it, can you?" And he was like, "No." And then
Okay.
they showed the trailer.
And the trailer shows
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah,
No.
he mainly talked about his kids.
But I was pleasantly surprised to see
Classic.
Diane Lane on screen, because I do recall her being in the trailer, but forgetting that she was in the movie walking into it just now. And so I was like, oh wow, this completely adds to the weight of gravitas and
Yeah.
mystery
Well,
and history and like.
So she plays a woman who lives near the docks who pays him for sex.
And yet she's a bit of a mystical figure.
She's a mystical figure as well.
Yeah, she's got a cat that he has to keep bringing back to her.
She's always looking for her
I kind of
cat.
looked at them as like friends with benefits, and she just kind of loaned him money when he didn't catch fish. But when he caught fish, he would like give her, like his booty or whatever.
Booty and
bounty.
And bounty.
temptation.
But it was a good relationship.
His
It was like a positive,
bootylicious bounty.
kind of adult, like healthy relationship that you don't really see much on screen.
How about that?
Very healthy, Lucas.
No, I just mean emotionally. Like
Maybe
they're-
North Hollywood healthy.
No, I just mean that sounds really bad now that I think about it. You're right.
Listen.
I just like seeing Diane Lane. I guess.
think what it is too is that they had an easy camaraderie.
They did.
That's it. That's what I'm trying to communicate. And I'm saying it wrong.
Because he is, again, he starts at 8 before he speaks. At this point, he's consistently at 11. So and he's always saying, I need to catch that fish. I need to find
He's
that.
obsessed. Like every
it's not
driving
just-
scene is him. Like I want to figure it out. Like,
And
we're
it's
gonna go
not
back out.
it's
we're gonna
not
catch
just
it.
fish. Sometimes he's like, I need to catch that fish. And then someone's like, that tuna's just in your mind.
Yeah.
They call it tuna a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was what was interesting is like you're off kilter because like clearly he seems a little stressed out. So when people are like, yeah, that tuna's in your mind, it's like, oh shit, am I supposed to be reading into that? Because he is like so obsessed with it. Like maybe it isn't like
Because
what it's supposed to be.
Because
like,
literally,
everyone is saying it.
and literally for the first half of the movie, that is all that's happening.
Oh, yeah.
He is obsessed.
He's
with
like
the fish.
he's like driving in his truck in the beginning, and they're like listening to the radio, and the DJ's like on Plymouth Island, there's 70 degrees, humidity perfect, and go get that fish.
Go
Like
get that
catch
kid.
that fish.
He's like,
And
I
it's
gotta catch that fish. Gotta catch that
Catch
fish. Gotta find that tuna. I knew that was the one.
Yeah, but there's
That's
a
the
Yeah.
big one.
There's a lot of information coming at you. Just,
There is.
Like he was an Iraq war vet. He
Yeah.
would he's got a kid.
He has classic flashbacks where he has a fake beard on and he's playing with his kid
Fishing with his kid,
in the
yeah.
sunlight.
Yeah,
Djimon Hounsou's got a kid.
Very Terrence Malick-y.
There's just a ton of information, so something's coming. And
And then on the radio it says, "Be careful, because a storm's coming."
And it's interesting because what I liked about the tone is while being kind of a straightforward thriller, there is something off
Something's
kilter.
very off.
There's something like off, and it's a good it's like a good off, like a Twilight
It's a
Zone.
fun off.
Yeah, because I remember because you're like, where is
Now,
Plymouth?
Lodge Mistress, you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, are you
I
just deeply feeling what we're saying?
I just know that some crazy stuff's about to go
Well,
down.
okay. So we've established him. We've established his kind of daily routines. We've established that he's a rum drinker.
And we've established that everyone on this island, every day player, every supporting character, they all know each other's business. So like what you
Yes.
hear in one scene pops up in the next scene, but from someone else's point of
the
view.
gossip is crazy.
It is. It's real. Like
and
it's real.
there's a bespeckled man that's following him, and it's very
From Succession, I forget his name, but yeah, it's got a
very
little
mysterious.
David Lynch vibe. He's very out of place,
it's so
and he's
good.
very, and he's like
It's so good how
he's
out
like
of
the
place
yeah,
he is.
he's like in the zone.
It's unexpected that they would add such a bizarre
Yeah.
character to these pulpy.
It's a wild card.
genre
It
proceedings.
is a total wild card.
And so I think that leads us to our true just salad dragon nest. Like it is maybe like a 4-minute sequence that just holds you and just crushes your bones into fine powder and makes you contend with it. we were not ready. So McConaughey, he's at his home, which is a shipping container.
Which is great. There's no electricity.
It's just
lanterns.
They show the exterior, and it's literally just
buckets of water.
It's just like a corrugated metal shipping container. He's had enough of whatever's going on at the shipping container. He takes off all of his clothes.
Strips naked and gratuitous, like his taint, his little fruit pouch.
Yeah,
He is proud.
He kicks his leg
As he
up.
should be.
So the shot's from behind, but he kicks both legs up a couple times, so you get a little twig and berries glimpse. And then he just walks outside, walks kind of along this grassy cliff area, and that's when the camera kind of zooms in with a and it's like zooming around him and kind of like how would you explain what happens there?
There's a few shots like that where the camera like
with Anne Hathaway's entrance, it was like
it zooms around.
Yeah. Her wedding ring. It starts on her wedding ring on her hand behind her head as she's walking into a bar, and it glistens. It glows, and then it does the Scorsese jib arm like around it, like right into their face.
Yeah, it's very sort of sharp and geometric.
And I was wondering, I'm like, is this a completely foreign film but in English?
Yeah.
Like it was.
Right.
I was way curious, but out of my depth with that shit.
But it was executed very like the level of craft was impeccable.
Not on those zooms, dude.
Well, maybe not on those
zooms. Those zooms were fucking weird.
Maybe not on those zooms, but I don't know. I felt like the other scenes were just really like solid.
Speaking of craft, he gets to the cliff's edge and just leaps off completely naked off the cliff into the water, and then that's where he sees a vision of his son. So I cannot explain to you what an odd experience it is to watch a completely
and he's naked for a while, like merman,
completely sincere, completely naked, completely intense.
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey swimming toward the camera,
underwater,
toward the camera, deeper and deeper into the sea.
Puts Aquaman to shame.
Swimming towards his young teenage son. He's naked, swimming like with an urgency in his eyes, and his son kind of has long hair and is looking at him kind of longingly. And I'm like,
they're swimming towards each other.
I'm like, are they gonna kiss?
Yes,
like, what
it
is
was
this?
romantic, and the side view of Matthew McConaughey was romantic, and more twig and berries as well.
Yes, I'm glad you noticed. So he finally gets together with his son, and it's just like, and he wakes up, and so you're like, it's a dream.
Because he's drinking. I mean, yeah.
He's a mess.
And he's obsessed with this fish.
So McConaughey looks down at the table, and he looks at himself, and he's all wet. And there's like a big puddle of water on the table. Cut to his son, who we cut to a few times in his bedroom playing with his computer. We show his son, and there's the same puddle of water on his son's
water bottle has spilled.
Computer desk.
And that's when I leaned forward in my seat.
We all did.
And looked at my fellow lodgers, because I was like, we ain't in Kansas anymore. Like, this is something. Something's up.
Something's up.
Then they both rubbed their hands in the water.
Yes. Oh, that's a key.
That was crucial.
They both are kind of stroking the water and moving it around on the table very, like, sensually. It was weird. Like, McConaughey is just so intense in these scenes where you really don't know whether you can laugh or not. And that, I think, is the brilliance of the movie, is that they had to know this was bonkers. And McConaughey in the film says it himself many times. Like, they'll just cut to him, like, looking bedraggled, and he'll just be like, a lot of weird stuff going on around here. It's like, no shit.
A lot of weird on-the-nose dialogue.
But they play it
straight.
Super straight. Everybody's super straight.
Dialed in.
So, yeah, like the Snop said, Hathaway's in town and she wants him to kill her husband. It's the same old, body heat, double indemnity, all that bullshit.
Great performance by Hathaway, I thought.
Hathaway knows exactly what movie she's in.
Thought she did great.
She might know. I mean, McConaughey's always in, but whether or not he's on the same page as the movie is anybody's guess. But I think Anne Hathaway knew exactly what her character was, she knew how to play it, and she had a great time with it, even though nobody cracks a smile in this movie.
She says to him, and I think this is when you turn to me and you'd be like, we're playing by new rules. She's like, I think she says he can hear you when you talk through the computer or something.
She's like, your son can hear you through his computer screen. Yeah. Everything you say, he can hear.
Yeah.
And that was when the kid in Starbucks who said to me, Matthew McConaughey's fake in the whole movie. And then I was like,
Oh no! So we're
in a video game. That was about the time that I realized that we are in a simulation. That is where the movie is split in half. Yeah. You find out that his son, McConaughey's son, has created this island on his computer in a video game,
and everybody on the island is a character in that video game.
Like he is Truman Show.
And TV.
Yeah.
And suddenly everything's a video game. McConaughey looks into the distance and is like, the rules have changed. And the rules had changed.
And the messaging is strange.
So,
Yeah.
the guy with the speckles who was following him is offering him a fish finder and special lures to catch the fish because now it's a video game. And everybody's like, you got to catch the fish to win the game. But he's like, the rules have changed. Now it's about killing a man. And they're like, the rules state you can't kill a man in the video game. And so the movie kind of goes for about 20 minutes of McConaughey just drinking himself into a stupor, running around town and kind of screaming and yelling and trying to figure out what his existence means now that he knows that he's a simulation. And the theater started laughing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The theater, there was a crew in the back that was just like losing their shit at every turn at this point. And I can't blame them. Like, it is bananas.
Total bananas, and so confusing because everyone's performance is really compelling, so you're like, maybe this is good or maybe this is bad. I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah.
The other characters were like, don't do it, man. Don't kill him. And he was like,
Catch the
my
fish.
son wants me to kill him, so I need to kill him. And I was like, I don't know what we're supposed to be rooting for here.
Well,
Yeah.
and then somewhere along the lines, because it's not new even to this podcast to see a movie where the main thrust of it is a dude crazy or is a lady crazy or not? Like, is all this crazy stuff actually happening? And I have to say, Serenity kept me guessing for a little while. I was like, well, this could be a video game, or this could be, he mentioned he had PTSD, like a PTSD.
I was thinking that.
Like, issue where he was getting confused about what was real and what was not. And McConaughey, the actual man, does that enough.
Yeah.
Like, so you believe it. Like, he's always walking around questioning existence and whatnot.
It's like Interstellar, where he's just like crying and just what in the world is going on.
Yeah, like that's what he thinks about all the time, and that's why he signed up for this boat trip. I'm sure. Like, he's just like, or the movie didn't have all that, and he's like, you got to add themes of questioning one's reality and simulation. And, like
Stephen Knight's like, I just want to make a thriller about a
And
boat.
he's like, it has to be about a son. I'm into family right now.
I just had another kid. I've been thinking about my son and swimming naked to my son. And, oh man, it'd be great if you could put a whole sequence of me naked swimming towards my
That's the only
son.
way I can do it.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
I mean, but what's interesting is, like, they do reveal, or they tip their hand, even though you're not 100% sure of what exactly it is. The water scene is the definitive moment for me where I'm like, oh shit, this reminds me of the Neverending Story. So I'm thinking, like, well, the kid is clearly, like, they keep showing us him typing code, and it's like legit code that looks real.
Oh,
and it's
you
like,
checked it out? It was legit?
it checks out. No, because they, like, every time they cut to him, it was like very prominent, like just over the screen.
I really like that they chose to reveal the video game twist so early. Like, I think
it helps set it up more. I think it allows you to buy or accept the ending better.
Because
Without a
if
doubt.
A spoonful of sugar helps
you-
the medicine go down.
if you backloaded that twist and it came at us,
people would fucking
would riot.
Like, they would die. Yeah, like their fucking brains would explode.
That's too much of a hairpin turn.
But at the same time, though, like, that being said, like, I knew something was amiss, but I didn't know what it was until the very end, because at a certain point when they settle into that 20-minute backstretch where McConaughey's drinking himself into a stupor, I start thinking, oh shit, maybe this is like Shutter Island.
Yes.
And he's totally fucking loony.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Like,
yeah.
Like, because these movies are so... This general trope of, am I crazy, am I not, is so worn out.
So worn out.
And the only way that you can still pull it off is when everybody's super committed. And that's what makes the difference here. Like, he looks insane.
Yeah.
He is pushing everything he's got.
Drinking rum.
As soon as Anne Hathaway showed up, I felt like, wow, this is a weird spiritual sequel to Interstellar because they do have chemistry and they are like good, solid performers and they are committed. Like they're just totally.
It's like Interstellar meets Dead Calm
in the zone,
mixed with Boat Trip. So McConaughey's just wandering the earth, questioning life, and randomly howling at the sky. Just
a lot.
Hilarious howling. Yeah. That got the audience, well, at least us going.
Yeah. I think some people were there on like, this is a serious movie date, you know, like there was no sign of laughter directly behind us. But so anyway, Djimon Hounsou hires some thugs to beat up the husband.
We haven't mentioned yet. Jason Clarke.
Yes, Jason Clarke, who's in everything, who was in 2 trailers before the movie and the movie that we saw. He's everywhere.
He's good, though.
He was good in this. He was having a great time. So they break his hand so that maybe he can't go on the boat and catch the big fish. Everything's leading up to this boat trip. Everybody's like, today, fate is what's happening today. You're fated out on the water. So Anne Hathaway drags him to the dock, drugs him up, gets him drunk. They tell McConaughey, hey, you can still go out today and do this thing.
Message confusing because you felt bad for the guy. He was like so messed up, and like Anne Hathaway was kind of a villain, and like you were
really
like, is this a good thing or not? Like I don't know if they should be like killing this guy.
But that's part of the
I
whole
know.
conundrum.
I don't even know the whole message. We'll get to it in the final.
It's very conflicted. But there is a lot of back and forth, like, should he kill him, shouldn't he kill him? So I think this made it, having him be so out of it, made it even more of a question. You know, it wasn't like, can I do it? Like, I can do it, but should I?
Right.
So they go out on the water. They go out on the merry waters, and a scrappy young boy has stowed away, further complicating matters. And it's Diane Lane's like nephew or something, and he's like, you said in a drunken rage that I shouldn't come, but here I am. And so they're trying to figure out what to do with this guy. It is tense. Like you are wondering what the fuck is going on, because anything can happen in this movie. A dragon can materialize and obliterate them all. Like they're in a video game.
Yeah.
Obviously, the tuna hooks and starts pulling. And there's all this, like, homoerotic stuff with fishing rods and, like, sticking it in that little hole that on the belt if you're, like, doing big fishing, you know? And so McConaughey's always fumbling around with the rod and, like, putting it in that little hole. And they're like, oh, you got a big rod. Wrap your hand around it. Wrap your left hand around it. It's, like, what? So much comes at you fast and furious. Like, you don't know. You can't file it. It's unfileable.
Yeah. Processing. I'm just processing.
Like, what were you guys thinking while this struggle was going on with like, at the climax with the tuna?
Well, I was interested mainly. I was just like, is he going to really get the fish or is he going to let this guy loose?
No, I thought it was funny because to me, I knew it was a simulation. Like, I knew shit was like a game of some sort because there's a scene before this where McConaughey wakes up before his alarm goes off.
And he can't move.
He like, physically cannot get out of bed. And then when like the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., like Groundhog Day, he like can get out of bed. And it's like, okay, so when she's like, catch the tuna, baby, you're going to catch it, you know, like when they're trying to build up tension to like kill him, I'm thinking like, this is all a farce. Like this is all like not real at this point. Like I'm not.
Oh, interesting. I guess.
But I'm still emotionally with it at a certain level because I want something to happen after he dies. You know, like there's like because I kept thinking at that point, as soon as Jason Clarke dies, the movie's gonna just cut to black and like there's gonna be like 30 seconds of silence and the credits will slowly roll. Like the world just stops existing. You know.
That's interesting. Well, what actually happens is McConaughey lets him take the rod, but then lets go of him, and he flies overboard and disappears into the water.
Well, and I guess we should say.
During this, we're intercutting with McConaughey's son at his computer, listening to his parents fight. He opens a tackle box. Inside the tackle box is a large knife, the same knife that McConaughey has in the game. And as the struggle is going on with the fish, the son is going to presumably kill the father, the stepdad. You never see any of that, but you see it happen on the boat. You see him disappear. And then there's a bunch of digital there's a bunch of digitosity, and we're back in the kids' room, and you hear on the TV that he killed his dad, and that they said that it was domestic violence.
And all's revealed that McConaughey was an Iraq war vet who was killed, and it was the son programming him all along.
So we cut back to McConaughey. The kid gets taken to some sort of detention center to be profiled or whatever. We go back to McConaughey. McConaughey's in town, and the town's all shuttered up. closed for the summer. Anne Hathaway's like, well, you'll find him again someday, like something like that. And then he gets a phone call, and it's his son. His son's just thinking in prison. So we're all in his mind now. And he talks to his dad over this telephone and basically says, I'm gonna come see you. Which to me means he's gonna commit suicide.
Oh.
You guys didn't get that?
No, I didn't look at it like suicide. I just looked like he's gonna write more code. Yeah, write more code to like play the game.
Mind?
Well,
yeah, and then put it in practice when he got out.
One reread I wanted to do is like maybe the dad didn't die in Iraq, but he's crazy and has PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they meet up
and they can connect.
That'd be good.
Or connect via online, like
chat rooms.
They could get a chance to be on the internet for like 30 minutes a day, and then they can connect that way.
But when he talks to him on the phone, he's like, "Listen, man, I know you did that, and sometimes we do bad things for good reasons.
But you did the right thing.
You did the right thing."
So his dad, he is thinking of his dad telling him that he did the right thing.
But it's his program dad.
But it's his program dad.
So it's not a
it's not even real.
It's not real. So it's not necessarily his dad saying morally that was right.
It's everything that he wants his dad to be, including a dude with weird sexual practices and a complete lunatic drunk. But anyway, all that aside, his son arrives in town and runs down the sunny dock and into McConaughey's arms, and the most triumphant music is playing. Like you know they're about to reunite, but you're not ready for what happens when that music swell hits.
And that shot of them just
the theater just lost it.
Yeah.
Then it just cuts to them riding off into the sunset on the Serenity boat, and that's it. I don't know how you market this movie.
No.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice, like, it would have given it a fighting chance if they could drop some little hint that this was a fucking Matrix game.
It is
like,
Matrix,
but you
Matrix
can't.
Island.
You
can't.
And that's kind of why I liked going into it sort of blind.
Right.
Because it is an unmarketable film.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
they did the right thing trying to sell it as a thriller.
They did do the right
because
thing.
that actually made me want to see it. And if even the reviews were bad, I probably would have A-listed it alone, to see it eventually. Because I like the cast and I like the setting and I like what the trailer sold me on. But it is a classic bait and switch. But what's interesting is he kind of lets you know up front that it is. Because even if you think about it, the opening shot, it starts on the kid's eye and it goes into his eye and then into the water. And I remember thinking, that's an odd way to start the movie.
Yes,
and then the computer shit, and he talks to you through the computer. It's like, okay, this is an odd movie.
And it shows you how remarkable it is, how much you just let slide. Or you file under, oh, that was weird, but then you move on.
Because they're so committed, because they're selling it. They are fucking selling it.
They are.
Let's see what these bones are feeling like. Lodge Mistress?
I really did enjoy it. It was weird. I enjoyed it. I thought the acting was really great. But the messaging was so weird. And a lot of the plot stuff, I was just like, I couldn't really invest in it fully because I was like, why don't you just take that money and take your son? Like when it was still like a thriller or whatever.
Right.
So it was like, I never bought into the necessity of trying to kill this man, which really kind of dumbed it down for me.
What's hashtag problematic is like, the kid kills his dad and it's like a positive thing. You
I
know,
know.
I'm
It was
I'm
like, I
kinda
was like, is
worried
this
that,
a message for people to like kill their abusive dads and with a smile on their face? I don't
And
know.
a hunting knife?
It was the messaging was so weird, but
Yeah.
I will say I
You've
was
never
riveted.
been a message prude.
but I still thought it was weird. It
Sure.
was weird, and so I guess I was riveted. So I guess I'll give it 2.5 bones.
Wow, okay. All right.
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly. Because you wanted to give it more?
Reluctantly
2. I
crouched
wanted to give it
at the
2,
start
but
of
I'll give it
buying.
2.5.
You chubbed it up.
The acting was great.
Brother Lucas.
Yeah, this movie is an odd kettle of fish.
Kettle of tuna.
Kettle of tuna, bumblebee tuna. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Lodge Mistress on this. I have to give it 2.5 bones as well because I kind of like the ingredients of it being a straight thriller and was kind of hoping for something that would like build tension and like double crosses and things like that. And it's interesting, like even though I'm giving it 2.5, like the scene where the son calls him from prison or whatever and he like answers, he is like, yeah, again, like dialed up to 10, gripping the receiver with two hands, like like as if like his son like, you know, is like in the phone. And I caught feels like I got I got a lump in my throat.
You believe it.
And my eyes kind of missed it up a little bit because McConaughey was like selling it that hard. But at the same time, it is just like such a epic, ambitious concept. It's just hard for me to like send anyone into it just because like I feel like most people
It's
would.
choppy waters.
Because there were people laughing. There were a lot of people laughing behind us, or at least this one guy was. This one guy just was yucking it up. Like, you thought it was the funniest shit ever. But
2.5.
But 2.5, yeah. It's technically solid.
Brother Bishke, I am so on the edge of my seat for this.
Well, this was a mind fuck. I mean, this was like, I knew with Stephen Knight we're not getting a conventional thriller. I just knew we're not heading into. So I knew something was going on, and then the Starbucks kid ruined it for me a little bit with it. With
That wasn't everything.
But that wasn't even near everything. And you know, I thought, and then I was kind of like looking for themes like Truman Show or Dark City, where at the end you get a definite, okay, this is kind of a critique of something, or this has a message, but the messaging is even really weird. And I was like, maybe he's like McConaughey becomes conscious within a video game or something like that. That was interesting to me. Like, but then like, yeah, in terms of the messaging, I'm kind of with the Lodge Mistress, where I was just like,
Did it make you want to kill?
I mean, a movie.
You don't
is-
have to.
I
You don't have to
encourage.
tell us.
I mean, I have to encourage the strangeness of this movie.
Of course.
And you know, because there's no way to market it. The Rotten Tomatoes scores are down the tubes
They're
with
abysmal.
both the audience and the critics, and that's just fine because this is like, I have to encourage this kind of innovation.
How many bones?
2.5.
2.5 bones.
Oh.
Okay, y'all are weak.
We're pretty weak.
Y'all are scared. The fear is the killer. This is a 3-bone movie. It's a 3-bone movie because it's so much fucking fun. It is fun from, what is it, bow to...
Stern?
To stern? Thank you.
And yeah, it's fun from the naked McConaughey jump for
Oh
sure.
my
Like,
God.
that's like when
Yeah.
you're like,
My jaw was on the floor for most of this movie.
and then the hand on water scene, you're like, what?
I-
Crinkling my brain.
My brain was crinkled. It was crinkled. Any movie that can do that with relatively little, like they're on a boat,
Yeah.
they're in a shipping container, or they're in front of a computer
Bar.
screen, or they're at a bar. Like, very small movie overall. Very few characters.
yeah.
And I was riveted. I had no clue what was going on. I liked all the ingredients, just like you said, LT. And yeah, it goes into just new age nonsense for like 20 minutes. But that gives you a chance to just kind of recalibrate and chill for a little bit. That's the part where you would, you know, take out the joint, smoke, get a drink, you know, come back in. That eases you back in for a thrilling climax. Like, holy shit, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah.
Serenity, 3 bones. We gotta support this kind of weirdness. This movie is not it's not a sequel, it's not a reboot, it's not a remake.
True.
It's a genre
True.
genre riff
Yeah.
factory.
Yeah.
It's folding genres
It's bold.
over on itself, and
Definitely bold.
it's great. Like,
And McConaughey is the anchor. He anchors it.
McConaughey is transcendent in
No,
this.
he's solid. He's doing his best work.
So I gotta say, if you're still listening and you want just a crazy time at the movies, you gotta go see Serenity because it's gonna be gone soon. And it's best to see with a theater that's just
Not ready.
not ready, and just the ripples of slow realization as the film spells out what it has in store for you is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, well, love and light, everybody.
Love and light.
Go see that Serenity. Go get serene with it. Support your local McConaughey.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
This is Matt's dad reporting on the Serenity movie, Lodgemaster. We were absolutely the only ones in the 3:30 showing in Salem, Oregon. I also know that $28 is now gone forever from Matt's inheritance. You will never see it again. Kathy's initial response after the show was, "Ooh la la, Matthew McConaughey's bare butt." That's a direct quote. I felt an aura of the Sixth Sense movie about a third way in, but not sure it was going to go to what degree. If the captain's mate was the conscience, what was the role of the cat and the old guy in the bar sitting in the corner? I thought the old guy was going to be Matthew McConaughey eventually, but guess not. I would suggest some Maui Wowie, a gummy bear, and half a brownie to answer some of those questions for your friends. This is the bone count on the Serenity movie. We're looking at 2 bones. This is Matt's dad signing out. We'll see you at the movies.
You know, that tuna's just in your mind.